Many people have feared an all-out nuclear attack since the invention of the atomic bomb, and an arms race to secure as many nuclear warheads as possible. The nuclear arms race began when the Soviet Union detonated their first hydrogen bomb in 1949. From there, the race was on. By the late 1980s, the Soviet Union had amassed a staggering 40,000 nuclear warheads. It is estimated there are approximately 20,000 towns and cities in the US. This would average 2 nukes for each town, including the little ones. Nuclear weapons these days are much more massive in their destructive force. You might have heard the term low yield? Some low-yield nukes are as powerful as those that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II. The atomic bomb dropped over Hiroshima was 15 kilotons, and the one dropped over Nagasaki was around 20 kilotons. If a nuclear explosion is anything between 0.1 and 50 kilotons, it is considered low yield. So just how big do they get? The largest nuclear weapon ever detonated was the Tsar Bomba. The bomb was 8 meters long and weighed more than 27 tons. Detonated in 1961, the weapon was even too large to fit in the aircraft, and had to be carried underneath on the outside. The bomber was only given a 50-50 chance of escaping the blast, only after the bomb was supplied with a giant parachute to buy the aircraft some time. If the Tsar Bomba at 57 megatons, was used instead of Little Boy, 15 kilotons, and was detonated over Hiroshima, the explosive force would be 3,800 times larger. A nuke weighing only 1 ton today can release energy equivalent to 1.2 megatons of TNT. For any person born after the 1960s, the threat of nuclear warfare has always been a part of their lives. If you grew up during the Cold War, you may just as well have had nightmares about atomic attacks, followed by rising fiery mushroom clouds. But what was the likelihood of civilian populations being vaporized by long-range nuclear missiles? In actual fact, the U.S. first response, or retaliatory response, since the 1960s, was to destroy military targets of enemy countries, and not the population. However, some of these targets would actually be in close proximity to cities, and the after effects of taking out all military targets would turn an entire country and probably the planet into a toxic radioactive wasteland. There are 9 countries that currently possess nuclear weapons. They are China, India, Israel, France, North Korea, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Between them, they hold nearly 16,000 nukes. The threat of a nuclear war between Russia and the United States has decreased since the end of the Cold War. But the presence of these large stockpiles is a risk itself. More countries and radical groups are always seeking to build nuclear weapons. There is currently 1,800 metric tons of weapons-usable material stored across 25 countries, some considered to be poorly secured. Many fear that a new arms race is starting up as treaties expire, and the US makes plans to spend $2 trillion over the next 30 years rebuilding its arsenal. As for the doomsday clock, it's now set to 100 seconds to midnight. Please comment on your thoughts and fears below. Please like and subscribe to receive updates.